Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today, Monday morning, bright and early, October 25th, 2021. It's the last week of October, making our way to Movember. I'm the man they call Meathead, joined by the lovely and ready, awake, happy Linda Kay.
Yes, Meathead. So it's so early that I'm sitting here in the dark.
Wow, literally and figuratively. As in, I could change up the format. You would never know. You'd be literally in the dark. No, I'm kidding, of course. Big weekend. We had OVW action from Linda Kay. We had Green Bay Packers victory from, Green Bay, Wisconsin. We have a lot of wrestling news. Dave Hero dropped a bunch more names for GLCW's Blizzard Brawl. First off, let's get the sponsor taken care of, make sure they're taken care of, and then we'll go into the news.
Yes, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of collar and elbow t-shirts at Blizzard Brawl, speaking of. And if you want to be sported in the tremendous and comfortable and fashionable collar and elbow t-shirts, make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com and to save a little money, use promo code LindaK. And DAKAY to save yourself 10% off your order.
Fantastic. Linda Kay, LINDAKAY, collarandelbowbrand.com. Let's get some news out of the way here and knock it out. We've got a ton of news. First off, injury update on Lance Archer. You saw the head spot that he took, Linda?
Yeah.
And, I didn't like that they started putting that X out there, where a referee would throw an X and then the fans are like, oh, it's an X. It must be real. I like knowing that it's real because literally the medics and the doctors came down and then he finally got Lance in the ring. Eddie rolled him up and the match was over. That's how you know, oh my God, that's I hope he's okay. Well, Lance said he just basically didn't elevate enough and, didn't rotate enough. So he missed a spot and he's glad everybody looked out for him. Super happy AEW doctors took care of him and he's going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just saw the looks on all their faces. And so,
right.
Something didn't go well. And thankfully, he was able to, at least still continue. Obviously, let's put him first. If he couldn't continue, obviously he would have made it known, but he was able to at least get that and they got him out of there quick, that quick roll up, like you said. And at least he was able to also provide an update after. So that's good to hear.
Happy to hear. Let's talk more talents announced for Blizzard Brawl. I feel like we're getting a mother load this year in 2021, Linda, because we didn't have a Blizzard Brawl in 2020. So, I mean, Dave, just over, 3 days worth of time, the talents he's already announced here. We already know about, the main events, right? There's the Titan Adam Shearer. You've got EC3 from Ring of Honor, formerly of Impact and WWE. Mm-hmm. And Adam Shearer, obviously formerly known as the Beast Among Men, Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman. You've got AEW superstar Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 holds, former NWA Women's Champion, and honestly, she's a heavy contender for that TBS Championship. You've got the Gun Club. These are Billy's boys, Colton and Linda, help me out. Colton and Austin, right?
Austin, yeah.
Yep. Got the Gun Club. You've also got D'Lo Brown's going to be in the house. You've got Deborah in the house. Plus, we've got Backwoods Brown taking on Val Venus. Hello, ladies. And Shannon Moore, formerly of 3 Count and in WWE, going to take on Joey Avalon. Plus, Joe Daring from Impact Wrestling taking on OVW's Cash Flow.
Absolutely. And there's more names coming out in the next couple days as well. This is going to be a huge, every year we say bigger than ever, but especially since we didn't have them last year. These are just the first names being announced within just a couple days. We're going to have some more, Meathead. And everybody.
We've been at the post catering, afterwards. I think they might have to double up on the catering this year too.
Perhaps. Yeah,
all
so
right.
Excited. Yeah, again, everybody, that's very Saturday, December 4th, Waukesha County Expo Center, Waukesha, Wisconsin. Tickets will definitely sell, especially with just the names we've announced already, but always a huge show.
Get those tickets in advance. Yeah.
Exactly. BlizzardBrawl.com.
Yep, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about some wrestling news. We're going to jump over to Impact Wrestling. They had their Bound for Glory pay-per-view. The reason I want to jump on Bound for Glory real quick, one, it's their major pay-per-view of the year. Two, championships have changed hands. And three, there is talk the Forbidden Door may be closing, Linda. Christian Cage did lose the Impact Wrestling Championship, and a couple names did show up. The Titan, Adam Shearer, did not show up at Bound for Glory that I can tell. Maybe my notes are off, but I did not see the pay-per-view, so I'm just going based on the notes that I've gathered. But Mickie James, new women's champion. We've also got new tag team champions. The tag team formerly known as the Iconics in WWE are now the Illusion, and they are the women's tag team championship champions.
Inspiration.
The Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Thank you.
2 eyes.
Did I say the Illusion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Use your Illusion 1 and 2.
Yes. There was a spot in town back in the day called Illusions.
That's right. Here's the thing, though. Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, wins the Impact Championship off of Christian. Moments later, the winner of the Call Your Shot tournament match, Moose, called it, beats him. New Impact Heavyweight Champion, Moose.
Yeah, I mean, he is the guy I feel as of late for Impact Wrestling, at least as
he's the face of Impact.
Champion, so
I think he is.
It was only fitting. Yeah, absolutely. So it was only fitting for him to get it back and at their biggest pay-per-view of the year.
We're going to bounce around a little bit here. I want to talk about what happened on Friday night on Smackdown first. The title exchange. You've heard Matthew and I mention it. Linda, I don't know where you stand on this, but I cannot stand the title exchange they did last year and the one they just did this year, where they had the New Day and the Street Profits swap belts because they got drafted to different brands. Last Friday night on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair, the current Raw champion, who now lives on SmackDown, and Becky Lynch, the current SmackDown champion, who now lives on Raw, were made to swap belts. I cannot stand it. I do not like it. And apparently neither does Charlotte or Becky, to the point where it blew up afterwards backstage. And that little hissy fit that you saw in the ring, which looked sloppy, was real.
Yeah, the belt swap after this year's draft definitely did not fully exchanged belts. No big deal to them. Whereas here, I mean, as you mentioned, there's some heat there. And, I wasn't sure when I was watching it if that was true heat or if they just, they
Right.
both are their own respective champions on their respective brands. And those belts are their belts. And they, apparently just were not happy about it either. And it showed on there. But, what's interesting is that, with New Day and Street Profits belt exchange, it was just done backstage.
And they were both face teams,
done.
So they were happy about it.
Right. And this one was just made as a big spectacle. It was part of the headlines. I mean, it was the main event. Am I wrong? Or the belt?
No, right. It was the main event segment.
Yeah. So, I mean, that itself was different.
And it looked
from the
terrible.
previous one.
It looked terrible. Looked absolutely terrible. Not a good look for the company, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual result was that they wanted from making this a big spectacle on SmackDown.
I mean, here's the thing. It's with the lineage, right? And Matthews mentioned this.
Not on camera.
Yeah,
I mean, if
I was
they
going to say,
wanted
Matthews
to,
mentioned this a few times. Matthew mentioned it a few times with the lineage.
Right. Yep. Heard you guys
I was going to say, he had said, what about the lineage? So if you think about it, Becky Lynch earned her SmackDown championship. Yeah, she came back at SummerSlam. She took the spot of Sasha. Sasha came out there as well. I mean, they just looked pithy, is what they did. It just looked terrible, like not professional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they are making, a big deal about this now being, or last SmackDown was the first SmackDown with the new roster, and like tonight's Raw is going to be the season premiere on the new
with the new rosters,
strength acquired, Raw. So, I'm not sure. I mean, the exchange happened, so I guess
why didn't they fight for it?
Forward.
I mean, if these titles mean something, which you're supposed to be making me believe that they mean something, make them fight for it. make somebody win both belts, and then make somebody. I mean, the Becky 2 belts thing worked. Bayley when she was a women's champion and a tag champion. Asuka when she was a women's champion and tag champion. It worked.
Right.
This is terrible. It's just a bad look. And then let's talk about SmackDown while we're on it. Linda Kay, did you have your watch out, your stopwatch?
When I was watching SmackDown, not exactly.
Did you realize that first segment, the first match we didn't get was literally until like 35 after?
I guess I didn't realize that.
3 segments with Brock Lesnar, with Roman Reigns. 3 segments we had.
Right. And the recaps.
And the recaps over and over and over. This just didn't work for me. I mean, yes, there was more to SmackDown than just these 2 segments, right? But it just didn't work for me. I mean, we had the, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn. We had the crowning of Xavier Woods, which was the highlight of the show for me. The triumphant King Woods coronation was absolutely fantastic. We also had Mansoor taking on Mustafa Ali again. And the in-ring debut of Hit Row.
Nice. I'm not even going to try to sing it, but I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. But I'm telling you, it was just bookended by shit that upsets me. It's just not a good look. So
I will say one thing I did like, though, since this was the new SmackDown post-draft, is having all of the newer acquisitions cutting a quick promo to kind of introduce themselves to the audience. Yeah. That I appreciated.
That was okay. And I expect it. It's character building, but you got a 2-hour show network television. That looks terrible. So let's talk about AEW's entries over the weekend as well.
Okay.
AEW had Rampage and they had the Dynamite show on Saturday as well. We had a lot of wrestling. I mean, literally, Rampage started off with Orange Cassidy taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Orange Cassidy moves on in a tournament. Then we had Anna Jay taking on Britt Baker, DMD. Britt Baker wins, and just setting up more strength for the women's division. They announced that there was going to also be, here's the brackets. Here's how the TBS tournament's going to work. Then they had another strong match. Andrade El Idolo taking on Pac. And then, everything just I thought it looked great. First, before we go into Dynamite, Linda, how did you feel about Rampage?
I truly enjoyed it. I mean, those were all strong matches. There was progression, whether it be for the tournament or just to build more heat between the feud between the Bastard Pack and Andrade, as we saw later on Dynamite. I mean, they pack a lot in that 1 hour. And it just moves along fast, swift. We get to the point, and there's always a lot of hard-hitting action. I really enjoy all the rampages that have taken place thus far.
Saturday night starts off with Bryan Danielson and the Natural Dustin Rhodes. This is a world title eliminator tournament first round match. Now, Bryan Danielson is going to go ahead and win this. I thought we had right after that. I thought we had a great promo with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. Talking about Hangman, they're not going to be chanting cowboy shit. They'll be chanting coward shit. And then Omega goes, "Good job, Adam. That was a great line. I love the way you put that together." He goes, what am I going to do? I thought it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a match that we knew would come to fruition sooner than later between Kenny and Adam, and I am looking forward to the weeks. It's coming up. Gosh, so much wrestling right now. The
Full Gear is coming up in just a couple weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it.
Another strong promo from MJF calling Sting Darby Allin's little emo daddy. That's funny to me. I don't know why it's funny to me, but that's funny.
Well, I mean, this right before MJF getting smacked hard by Sting when he took that shot at Darby and mentioning Lex Luger. Yeah, I think that was that. Yeah, that was when Sting was just sacked him. And hey, I mean,
Sting had to have cleared that though.
I would think so. I mean, I think anything that MJF has said, I mean, as dastardly as it's been, I would assume so.
That's something if he cleared that though. I mean, because did Stinger call Lex and say, "Hey, we're going to drop your name on Dynamite, and it's going to be about you in a wheelchair"? Yeesh. Bobby Fish getting a consistent push and getting another win. Now, here's what I found kind of surprising. To the aid of Anthony Green was CM Punk. Are we setting up a CM Punk Bobby Fish match at All Out or Full Gear? Excuse me.
That's sure looks like it, and if so, that's what I want to see. You know, I'm a fan of MMA, and obviously the two of them have that background. And I already saw Punk tweeting.
You saw what he was wearing. He had his Rufus shirt on.
Right. Well, they already have their match. I think they have their match scheduled for Dynamite this week. It said CM Punk's debut on Dynamite. Well, maybe there might be some interference or something like that, or maybe they can slowly build this to a even bigger match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Your feelings on Dan Lambert and his promos?
I enjoy Dan Lambert. I really didn't know much about him, but every week when he comes out, he has a lot of good jabs.
He just yells too much for me. That's all. He's yelling and too much profanity for the sake of profanity.
It works for him.
Okay.
No, oh yeah. I mean, but I just feel it works for him. He is, the leader of the bigger heel factions, and he does what he needs to do. And if it is rather annoying, I guess, if at some points he's always screaming and the profanity, but I think that's kind of what fits that mold.
Okay. The main event was the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson taking on Malachi Black. Arn Anderson out there shooting his finger guns again. The winner of the match, Cody Rhodes, even though Arn took the mist.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't really sure which way this was going to go. Also, with Cody getting that Cena booing or Reigns at that point, treatment where he's that strong baby face and him getting those boos. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I was happy he won. I think this is a nice way to close that chapter. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Things can, happen once again. I know with Malachi Black, I mean, doesn't necessarily mean it's done. You can spit mist into any one of their faces again and start a different feud. But I thought it was a great match. I mean, they, took it outside the ring and had some, interference to some extent. But then we saw the mist, and it got Arn Anderson, and we're just like, oh no, I thought that might have done it for Cody, but he still came through in the end.
I absolutely love the Black Mist, and I think it's well placed. And I think it's with the right character, honestly. Yeah. So I feel it's absolutely perfect. Tonight is the season debut of Monday Night Raw with the new rosters. Linda, before we get into that, did you watch Crown Jewel at all?
Yeah, well, kind of. I had it on while I was driving to Louisville.
I remember you saying
for
that.
OVWTV. But hey, it made my drive go very fast because that was a long pay-per-view.
So you listened to Crown Jewel?
I listened to it, yes. And then I did, once I was off the road, I did catch the highlights and whatnot. And, I heard you and Matthew talking about it as well. I agree on many points about that. And it was a really great pay-per-view. I mean, it was a WrestleMania worthy card. I mean, obviously the production as well as every one of the pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia has been. But yeah, I mean, I agree too that Lashley Goldberg match was the biggest surprising highlight, I guess.
And it's a surprise because it wasn't a Goldberg match. It wasn't a 5-minute squash match.
Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned, I mean, anybody taking that bump with that spear into the, off the stage, I mean, let alone Goldberg. So yeah, I did enjoy that as well. And I mean, just everything, the Queen of the Ring, I'm sorry, Queen's Crown, excuse me, King of the Ring, the opening Hell in a Cell match, and the finish of the whole thing with Paul Heyman, brilliantly done. Oh,
brilliantly
just what
done.
He was saying, and then with the belt, and just like with on Smackdown, he was like, now, when he handed him the belt, he was like, that was easy, you knew what to do. And then he's like, but then at Crown Jewel,
it's so ambiguous.
Yeah, no, it was good, and I truly enjoyed it from what I saw. But I did listen to it all, and I thought it was a great pay-per-view.
And just to reiterate, the accounting firm at Dewey Cheatham & House still has the results as unofficial, but here are the results. The man they call Meathead leading at 1,990. Matthew Thomas just behind at 1,950. And Linda, you have 1,775, but you are a very AEW heavy roster, and you have an AEW pay-per-view coming up, so I would not be sweating it at all.
Yes, I thought about that as well. I'm like, we still have Full Gear coming up, and that's going to be a big one for Team Long Time.
That's right. Don't forget, folks, our rosters will lock after Royal Rumble. Remember we talked about that? The accounting firm says there'll be no more trades, no more drops, no more ads. They will lock.
And that's take place after the Rumble.
After the Rumble, the day after.
Thanks for that reminder.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I feel like I got a Hangman Adam Page title victory coming in, double points. And you actually got a title victory at Crown Jewel with the King of the Ring.
With King Woods, absolutely.
All
Happy
right,
for that.
Yeah. I thought I'd had something with Queen Mountain Dewdrop, but I think there's more to come with her.
Yeah, they have her on a high pedestal.
Ever on a week-by-week basis on TV, so there's something. All right, well, Linda, that's how our week starts off. So for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.